Hey, what is up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you here today. We have an unboxing here from the Major Wrestling Figures podcast. Big thanks over to Matt and Brian. I haven't really bought as much stuff as I would like to buy from them because of how collectible their stuff is and how people really go crazy over it. I've bought a lot of t-shirts over the time. From Pro Wrestling Tees. I bought one pack of the autographed cards that came out a few months ago. But I just like to pay back to one of my favorite things that comes out every week. The Major Wrestling Figures podcast. If you don't listen to it, it's what there is to know about previous figures that are out there in the world of wrestling, and they even talk a lot about stuff that branches out to Star Wars, Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, any of that stuff. I'm not a figure guy. I probably looked at more of the figures at Toys R Us than anything else out there. But it's fun to look at. It's fun to talk about. They're really knowledgeable about it, so it's hard not to. One of my favorite things that got me hooked on the show was back in the day when they would record at Monday Night Raw. They would talk about their past moments wherever they were that they could remember, what happened when they were there. Even if it wasn't about them, it was about wrestling. And that kind of branched me into just listening to them talk about the figures. And I know I'm not going to go running out to buy the new Big E figure or anything like that, but they're so knowledgeable about what they're talking about. I just stayed, and I like it. So here we go. I was able to pay back. I bought this on Black Friday. It was a brand new release. I don't know if these are really limited. I know they came out with a VHS. That was really limited. I think there was only 100 of them that they made, but I hope they make 1,000 of these, mainly because of what we just talked about yesterday. WWE is saying that they are no longer going to be making DVDs anymore, and I talked, there's other companies out there making wrestling DVDs that you can go out there and collect, whether that's AEW, ROH, PWG, Impact, or just maybe some local indie fed that about out there that runs a lot of guys in there. This here is the FWF Live. Mainly started the FWF, which was a branch off of the Major Brothers podcast, where they had a fig fed that were an imaginary booking of guys using the figures that they drafted for their supposed teams. That branched out. They said, hey, I bet you that we can actually run an actual pay-per-view that their supporters would buy, and they did it. And they ran. I honestly didn't buy the pay-per-view stream. Didn't really see much other than what they uploaded on their vlogs. But I'm pumped to watch it. And one of my favorite things that I'm gonna watch on it is the commentary. I was a really big DVD guy back in the day with movies, television shows, and that was one of my favorite things. I would actually watch the movie, and if I enjoyed the movie, or even if I didn't like the movie that much, but it had like the stars talking about it, and the stars were people that I cared about, I would listen to the commentary while watching the movie, just hearing their stories about what happened, when they made it. But sometimes they told funny stories, sometimes they told you what it was like to set up a scene, sometimes it told you what it was like to get an actor, sometimes they told you why they casted that actor, lots of different things. The cat's driving me crazy. But this right here, you have Matt, Brian, Smart Mark Sterling right up front. If I remember right, that's Shane Douglas, right? Shane Douglas was there. We got Tommy Dreamer, Hornswoggle. We've got Bear Country, who do some, I don't think they're really with AEW. I think they just do some AEW dark stuff. Stang was there. Rory Fox did a run-in. I know that setting up FWF2, the Big O from what was it called? True Z Long Island Hollywood Stories, or something close to that. The Zack Ryder show back in the day. His buddy was there. Maven came through. He's on the back of there. Yokozuna. Right there. This is going to be a fun show. Sit down, watch this bad boy. I want to think that it was like $14.99 a little bit for shipping or something like that. So I'm pumped to watch it. Hopefully you guys check this bad boy out. But they did this back in April. They just ran another show on Thanksgiving. The show actually went live. One of the things that people wanted to buy the stream for was because they hooked up with Pro Wrestling Tees and got their own micro brawlers. If you streamed this, you got a Maven one. That was the only way you were able to get Maven. And then they also just did that Thanksgiving one. They gave out the Headbangers. And if you were a fan of them back in the day, that's the only way you were able to get their micro brawler. So I'm pumped. FWF right here, major pod stuff. Glad I got it. Peace out, guys. DVD collecting, still alive.